But let's turn to business news now with Nona Peltier. Another form of business, I guess. Fonterra has updated its dairy forecast, but hasn't changed it.
That's right. No, it hasn't really changed it.
Yeah.
Well, I have actually spent the day trying to figure out exactly where things are at. So the chair came out this morning with a statement which said that the global milk supply is expected to come back into balance. Wasn't quite sure what that meant.
Supply and demand balance, right?
That's right, supply and demand. So after a bit of, just looking and talking to some folks at Fonterra, late this afternoon they said that on the demand side, things are looking up. So that's kind of interesting. Dairy imports in Latin America are up 11% for the 12 months ending in May, which is pretty good. And in China, they're up 23%. Now, I've had a look at the Chinese numbers, and it's mostly in fresh milk products.
Right.
But nevertheless, that's still an increase, and that's giving Fonterra some hope. And I guess that's what's underlying their forecast.
So demand is up, but you've also been looking at the supply side, Nona, right?
Right. And the supply side is being impacted by those low prices. So Fonterra is expecting the milk collection in New Zealand to be 4% down on last year's season. As well, Teo Spearings and the chair, John Wilson, have been to Europe recently. And while they were there, they had a look around the industry, as you would have expected. What else would they be doing, right? And in any case, they had a look around, and they think that the European farmers are also cutting production in response to low prices.
It's actually interesting when you look at the returns on farm, what farmers are being paid. While there's quite a wide range in Europe, it's actually a similar level to what our farmers are being paid at the moment. If anything, just ranges from slightly less to slightly more. So the same pain that our farmers are under is actually being experienced in many other dairying regions around the world.
So that's John Wilson. Sorry, I spoke over the beginning of him, but all of this means actually they can stand still, really, right?
So they've got a situation now where the European farmers are also feeling the pressure that New Zealand is under. And I looked at those numbers that the Fonterra staff sent me late this afternoon, and the Europeans are exporting. Their exports are up 11%. They really have been. EU exports 11% compared with New Zealand's 4%. So. Yeah, the increases there are mostly coming on the European side. So we're going to see some changes there. Meanwhile, we've hit this bottom, 4.25. Fonterra is sticking with that price, which is great news for the dairy farmers, which means they can budget. And there's a potential there for the dividend to increase because Fonterra's got on top of their debt, they've got on top of their costs, and they're looking at getting better prices on those spot markets where they can really extract some additional value.
And they've got on top of their debts and their costs because this is seasonal, right? And you pay out less in winter because there's less milk being collected.
Yeah, so not bad news for the dairy farmers. Okay. I mean, it's not great news, but it could have been different.
Okay.
And how did that translate into the markets, you might wonder?
Yeah.
Yes, well, Fonterra's share price closed up 10 cents to $5.79, and that's really, we see that reflected in the overall index. We're at a record high, not quite. We're like just a point off a closing record, but we did reach an intraday record, so that would have been 7,359. We closed up 9 points, so not very much, 7,357. That's in line with what is happening in Asia right now, which is seeing one-year highs on their market close. And interestingly, it's all because, of course, the U.S. dollar, and so that's also translated into our currency market. The New Zealand dollar is now trading at 72.3 U.S. cents, 94.9 Australian, and 54.4 pence. And if you and I'll tell you something, New Zealanders made the most of that exchange rate with the pence because we had some online shopping numbers come out today, and it showed that in the week immediately following the Brexit vote, that shopping on UK sites by New Zealanders was up 47%.
Nona Peltier, our Auckland business reporter. Thanks, Nona.